How's it going, Rams? I hope you enjoyed your time off and had so much fun with your snow-filled day yesterday. I'm your brand new Thursday night sports anchor, Leah Kikowski. Here for you week in and week out to fill you in on everything athletics related going on in and around campus. So, even after CSU's men's basketball overtime loss up in Laramie on Monday, the long-anticipated Orange Out matchup is finally here. I'll give you a rundown of everything to look forward to for Friday. Plus, on the other side of the court, women's basketball took on New Mexico down at the Pit in Albuquerque, looking for number 3 in a row. We'll fill you in on the details, all of that and more on Thursday Night Sports, which starts right now. To tip things off tonight, let's jump right back into Moby to talk about Coach Medved and the crew on the hardwood, and more specifically, their matchup tomorrow against San Diego State, which has turned into a must-win for this squad if they want any chance of reaching their massive expectations, including a Mountain West regular season title. Now, we've talked at length over the last few days or so about the heartbreaker that Monday's game was, so I'll spare you the time tonight. But to put it simply, the Rams are riding a 2-game losing streak entering this one, sitting at 6-3 in conference and 16-3 overall. Currently, putting them at 3rd in the Mountain West, behind 6-1 Wyoming and 8-0 Boise State, which raises the expectations even higher to turn things around. And with that brief rundown of our hometown team, let's break down the other side of the coin, giving you a rundown on the squad that just gave CSU a blowout loss less than a month ago, San Diego State. Since their beatdown of the undefeated Rams team in Viejas on January 8th, things have been up and down for the Aztecs to say the least, going 2-2 since then with dominant victories against mediocre programs that the Rams struggled against, and New Mexico and more importantly, UNLV, beating both at home by nearly 30 points each. But obviously with that 2-2 record, with the good comes the bad for this SDSU squad, which in this case definitely comes on the road, with a close loss to Boise State followed by a more lopsided result against an average Utah State team up in Logan. Now, clearly, these Aztecs are a much different team at home than they are when they travel, just like the Rebels were last week. And luckily, with this Orange Out theme come tomorrow night, the crowd at Moby will be rocking. They'll need to make a difference in this one for CSU faithful to expect a different result than what happened in the first meeting between these two teams. And speaking of that initial meeting, the home squad won by 30, and while the first half was relatively close, it felt like the Rams completely gave up in the second, only scoring 17 to SDSU's 43 and shooting a woeful 27.9% from the field, not to mention an even worse 15% from 3. Now, every team has some duds on their schedule every once in a while, and it's going to be hard for CSU to play any worse than they did back then. Ultimately, if the Rams get better production outside of their 2 stars, Isaiah Stevens and David Roddy, who accounted for 36 of CSU's 49, things should shake out a lot more favorably for the green and gold, especially in the insane atmosphere that Moby will bring. CSU just needs to slow down the pace a little bit and give guys like Chandler Jacobs, Kendall Moore, and John Tonje more opportunities at some easy looks to get things going. And sure, while the Rams have had a tough time against the opposing team leader scorer as of late, I expect the defense intensity to be increased, and more importantly, for the squad to do a better job against SDSU's leading scorer, Matt Bradley, at least being able to hold him to below what he did last time, which was his second best output of the season with 26 points. In my eyes, the game back on January 8th was a perfect storm of bad play from CSU and efficiency at home from the Aztecs. And with this one being at home this time, I expect the green and gold to finally brown come tomorrow. But as always, who knows what will happen? We'll just have to wait and see. And on that note, let's switch things up and go on the road with CSU's women's basketball, who traveled down the Pit yesterday for a rematch against the 18-5 Mountain West leading New Mexico Lobos, who, like in the men's case, are a squad that just dismantled the Rams a few weeks ago with an 85-74 win in Moby back on January 15th. And so, was the result a different one for the green and gold this time around? Well, not exactly. With the Lobos taking down Coach Williams' crew by single digits, this time by a final score of 81-73. And when you look at those numbers, it's clear that McKenna Hofschild went off, going off for her second highest mark of the season with 28 points. When she scores like this, the Rams usually win, but not this one. Thanks to the lacking support from her teammates that she desperately needed to take home the dub against a squad as New Mexico. The other two members of CSU's Big Three, Upe Atasu and Carly Murphy, only went for a combined 17, which just isn't good enough. And when you look at the whole picture, a 29-point second quarter by the home team that left CSU in a 15-point hole entering the half was the deciding factor, leaving the green and gold scratching and clawing to simply get within the digits for the rest of the way. Even if they did come with one possession early in the fourth, with the L, CSU drops to 14-6 overall and 5-5 in the Mountain West. And with their 2-game winning streak now snapped, they'll shift their focus on the road trip, this time down south in Colorado Springs to take on the Air Force Falcons, who sit at 12-10 on the year. This one should be a lot easier of a matchup for the Rams, and I expect them to bounce back down in the Springs. Well, that's all for the news tonight we have for you, Rams. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful and safe weekend.